Now joining me, as always, with a school board recap interview is Holyoke School Superintendent John McCleary. Mr. McCleary, how you been?
Hey, good, Marc. How are you doing?
Doing good. And been a while since we talked last with our both our busy schedules
right.
and everything.
Yeah, you got sick kids, or it's just all over the place. So I've been pretty busy.
So I would not doubt that. First item is October class size, as I'm guessing this is our final pupil count as well.
That's right. So we presented preliminary, final numbers for this upcoming school year to the school board the other day. And I think you might have read it in the paper too, since you and I have been a little bit behind, but I think we're down about 2 students total, so that's really good news. So for me and Superintendent speak, that makes it really pretty much an even wash.
Right.
We've had some interesting increases and other things like that. For example, our kindergarten, last year I think it was about 34 kids. This year it's 50.
Yeah.
And so you just have those kind of fluctuations.
Yep.
Our high school enrollment numbers are up. In a lot of grade levels in classes like junior high is increased because we're moving some of the bigger classes out of the elementary school into that junior high level.
Right.
And so overall, our numbers are staying pretty consistent. I think we're at about 596 kids, total K through 12, and then roughly about a 595 funding for students. So really, it's pretty consistent from the year before.
As definitely do see those changes. As I remember when I was in high school, the class before us had 28, and ours had like 56.
Yeah.
Weird things how it happens, like
snowstorms, man.
Right, exactly.
Stuff like that. But we're pretty blessed to have what I would say kind of a consistent population going on, man.
Right.
In some rural school districts, they really get swung by the tail, like you're talking about. And, I was down in Kit Carson this last week, and I think I overheard somebody say we're down to 75 kids.
Wow.
And that didn't used to be such a small, like a tiny school district, but
right.
It's just in some places, we call it the brain drain, where all your young folks are moving out and they're moving to cities and places where there's industry and jobs, while, the folks that are still farming or ranching or keeping those stores open on Main Street are still having to stay there because they're, just because their kids are all grown up doesn't mean that they can turn over their livelihoods.
Right.
And so I think we're pretty lucky to have a healthy number of young folks like yourself. And I really wouldn't include myself in that, although I will have a kindergartner in a couple of years. But, people that are still having kids. So
right. So just good news there for the schools is next item having to do with the audit.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know and let Radio Land out there know that the audit's been completed. Ben did a really great job with that. We're working on finalizing things. And so that'll be presented to the school board, probably the second meeting in November, or maybe that first meeting in December. We'll be, finalizing some numbers, getting things to them. Really, it was a good sign. I don't think they spent more than maybe 2 days out here tops. So that's it's a good sign. That means your director of finance and business manager, Ben and Joan Price, the secretaries, Brenda's been managing the free and reduced lunch system, and that means that they've got their acts together and that they're doing things by the book and keeping things organized and can find things quickly. And if you don't have auditors having to dig through a ton of stuff, that's a great sign. So The less time, the better.
As that was a yearly audit, right? I know. I know. Obviously, most people hear audit and they think, "Oh no, the IRS is coming after me or something." Not that at all. It's school does every year.
It's every year. You're required by Colorado state law to conduct and have an audit of your school district financials as a government entity. I don't know if every government entity has to have an audit, but I would think like probably the counties do, and
right.
And probably I don't know about towns, but I bet they probably do.
I would think anyone that's getting funding from the government, because they're going to want to know where those pennies are going and everything like that.
Yeah, they get kind of particular about taxpayer money, and unless you are the government, at the national level, then it's kind of hey, what's a couple billion here? And there,
exactly.
But so they're pretty specific for us, and we'll have some. There's always these weird things like, and they're like auditors will say, all right, so we know that you built a roof this year, but you signed the contract last year, so all this money needs to go back into this last year's budget, and just different things like that. So there'll be adjustments, which there always is, but I think the message I want to send to everybody is that really pleased with the level of accountability, the level of responsibility, and the fiscal kind of with itness that's being exhibited by the district. So that's worth a lot.
So obviously, just more good news there. As next item, the upcoming superintendent evaluation.
Well, hopefully it's good news. We'll see. This year, the school board and I we reworked the evaluation process for superintendents, and I'm supportive of that. I'm going to have a 360-degree survey. So guys like you will be getting a survey on SurveyMonkey, and I'll be soliciting feedback. I want to know, am I doing a good job? Am I approachable? Am I really keeping the best interest of the kids up in front? Other things like that. And I mean, being a superintendent is a really tough job, period.
Right.
And sometimes you have to make decisions that might not necessarily be the most popular decision, but hopefully people can see that, hey, this guy's about the system, he's about our district, he's about our community, and he's about teaching and making sure that our kids are learning in kind of an optimal environment or as close as we can get to that.
Right.
And is this guy the right fit, for Holyoke School District and for Holyoke community? I think the fact that you've got a superintendent or that you've got a school board that's willing to ask that question to constituents is probably a good sign that we want to know what you're really thinking, and that that is the right fit, because it's about getting better every year. It's not about being absolutely perfect, and it's definitely never about dodging responsibility or people's viewpoints.
Right.
So. So that's all going to be coming up. We'll actually at this next meeting, we'll have an executive session for an informal conversation regarding the superintendent. The board will conduct the final evaluation and have kind of the tool and everything ready by January. Mid-January is usually when they're ready to roll, and then we'll see. So then, do the surveys go out via mail to everyone? Do they need to go? No,
those somewhere?
Yeah, they'll go out on emails and things like that. And if there's anybody out there listening that would, I would love to give McCleary an evaluation. First off, I would encourage you to get a hobby or something. But second off, you'll probably have a chance to see those. And if you don't. Feel free to contact me, and I'll definitely get something shipped out to you, because we want to know what people are thinking, and I'm definitely open to that. What's interesting about a 360 is you're looking at people in school, you're looking at parents. I know superintendents have asked student focus groups. Now you don't want every kid, giving you an opinion, but student focus groups, and as well as community members, business leaders, other things like that. So. Just people that are associated with the schools. And so I'm going to be evaluated probably over 6 areas. Instruction, curriculum, where the rubber hits the road. Mm-hmm. Community, personnel, hiring, attracting, maintaining, keeping good quality people.
Right.
geez, now that I can't remember all three, all six of them. Fiscal, accountability,
right?
Facilities, communication, and then extracurricular activities. So if any of those sound like something that people would like to give feedback on, and if you don't really feel like maybe you're in the loop with the superintendent's office or other things like that, then please contact me and let me know. I'm excited to do it, and I'm excited to solicit feedback. Honestly, I should be, because this is my third year here.
Right.
You can get a mulligan, a couple times, if you need it. But honestly, it's about, hey, is this guy doing what we need him to do? And I work for the schools. I work for that school board, and I'm a service-oriented leader who works for this community too.
Right. So be watching your emails after the first of the year, as those surveys will be going out. And once again, if you do not see those and want more information, do get in contact with the district office. Next item, quarterly report.
Yeah, so we're into our first quarter. It's done and wrapped up. All in all, expenditures and revenues are a little bit different than they were last year because of the big projects that we've been working on.
Right.
From July to July up to now. That roofing project, over $1 million worth of work that's going on in the district. So that definitely ticks your expenditures up. But also, since we're getting reimbursements from the state at 55% of that expenses of the expenses that we've had on those projects, that's also elevating our revenue. Right now, for the current year revenue, we brought in $1,152,335 in the areas of property taxes, mill levy override, specific ownership taxes, rural funding, which is where Senator Sonnenberg and Representative Becker were instrumental in helping us, procure some of that from the state hospital, Medicaid bills and things like that. Athletics, brought in $13,974 in athletics so far. It's just kind of,
right.
You really wouldn't think it would be kind of
right that much,
but when you think about the number of people coming in and out, our state equalization money is at $682,000, and then the federal and state grants at over $250,000, which is the reimbursements and things, totaling out to about $324,000 more than we had from the previous year. And then like I said, our expenditures are up as well, up by $610,000 from the previous year. So in our first quarter, we've expended $2,272,890. So
right.
It's expensive to get jobs done. So
takes money to make money.
Yeah, that's never really happened to me, but that's what I hear.
Say, yeah, that's exactly what the folks want to hear, is that the school's trying to turn a big profit, and that's not the case.
That's not the case. That's why when you look at a school district budget, you've got 1 page of revenues and like 52 pages of expenditures.
Right.
And so as much as I hate to say that, I'm not in the business of becoming a bank or making money, but we are in the business of spending your taxpayers' money out in Radio Land in a very effective and honest and upfront way that maximizes the impact.
Right.
So,
as the next item, characteristics of learners.
Hey, yeah. So, boy, I'm kind of excited, man. We've started this visible learning, and what does a visible learner look like, and how can we start to impact students and really kind of encourage kids to take ownership of some of their own learning. It seems like over the last 10 years with the standardization process and all the high stakes testing and other things like that, kids have been kind of getting really spoon fed a lot of information,
Right.
And you're kind of seeing this sort of, sometimes we have kids that are afraid to make mistakes and other things like that. And so both schools are working on the characteristics of what a learner is, and then it's an acrostic like all things in schools, right? Learner stands for learning from mistakes, evaluating work based on success criteria, What's a good paper look like? Now evaluate your paper, man. Are you there or are you not?
Right.
And it's not up to the teacher necessarily, although it is up to the teacher ultimately to decide that. It's not necessarily the best thing for the student to just sort of operate in a vacuum and then send that in. I mean, a student wants to look at their paper, look at it with a critical eye and say, what's good? What areas I need to work on, those kind of things, because those are the sort of skills that are going to transfer into a work environment. For the AN learner, ask questions and accept challenges. Don't be afraid of things. Don't be afraid if it's hard. Know what to do if you get stuck. That kind of approach. The R is receive and respond to feedback. The N is never give up. The E is effort matters. And R is reach for goals. And S is, why don't you be able to state what you're learning? Not what you're doing necessarily. I told you I was down at Kit Carson.
Right.
I asked this little cowboy. I was in a music class, and he was about fourth grader, and you could just tell he's a little cowboy. He had a PRCA, shirt on. He had his boots on. I said, "Hey, buddy, what are you working on today?" "Music." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Would you rather be rodeoing?" "Yep." I said, "Yeah, I get it, pal, but music's important too. So
right,
be able to tell us what you're doing." So I just wanted to share that, and you guys will see those posters up when you come in to visit schools and other things like that. On the flip side, there's what teachers are doing and what students are doing and what it looks like. So kind of exciting stuff. Just so you know, those professional development days that we're expanding are starting to pay off. And I was at the high school this morning. I was really impressed with the level of dialogue and interaction, engagement that teachers were having over that kind of conversation.
Right.
So, yep. So that's about all I have. You would think that for not seeing you for a month, I would have a ton to talk about, but that's about where I'm at.
So as always, I encourage you, if you have any questions about what's happening in the school board meetings, do get in contact with the school superintendent, John McCleary, or a board member. They'll be happy to answer your questions for you. Well, John, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you bet. Yep. And we're done with fall sports, huh?
Yep, we are. Hard to believe those are in the books, but before we know it, it'll be first weekend in December, and we'll have our first basketball games.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, were you down in Wiggins?
I was.
We kicked a field goal.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, we're lining up to kick a field goal? I was like, at first I was like, man, like the cold's getting to me, like maybe I have hypothermia or something. I started to hallucinate. No, man, we kicked the field goal, and we did it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a good one, and I was kind of surprised to see Coach Sprague call for that. But, it wound up working out.
Yeah, it worked out. It was pretty good. Not bad.
All righty, sir. Yep. Well, we'll let you go for a few weeks.
Thanks a lot, Mark.